As I was researching how to program a computer, several sources had stated that programming a computer is an art. I can agree to this, but for those of us just starting, what does this mean? For context's sake, we can look at other art forms. An artist, for example, who uses color and the stroke of his brush to produce his pieces of art from his imagination. We could also look at a musician who, using the relationship between time and tone, produces music for our ears to listen to. If you think about it, if you look at everything that is considered an art form, they follow a simple formula. Everything that can be considered an art form has one thing in common. We take the most basic elements of our craft, and from them bring our dreams and imagination forth into reality. This is the same with programming. At its very core, all we are doing is working with two basic elements: there and not there, on and off, ones and zeros. We take these ones and zeros and move them in a meaningful way to another location within the computer. Now, lucky for us, we are now several generations removed from having to deal with these ones and zeros directly. Programming a computer no longer requires us to spend years training as a mathematician. We do this through a mechanism we call a programming language, which acts as a middle ground between our view of the world and that of the computers. Like human languages, there are a vast array of different languages that computers have. Some languages speak to specific pieces of the hardware that a computer is built upon. Others only require a library to be installed on your computer. A programming language that hides the user from the ones and the zeros and all the inner workings of the computer is given the term high-level programming language. These exist so that programmers can focus more on the implementation of their own program other than how to interact properly with the computer. Python is the name of such a programming language and will be the focus of this tutorial. The Python programming language is popular around the world for several reasons, one of which is its capability for fast development. It does this in two ways. For one, it is what is known as an interpreted language. This means that whatever you write in your script is interpreted into something the computer can understand on the fly. You do not have to translate your program first, which for big projects can take a great deal of time. The second reason why Python is fast to program in is its interpreter prompt. If we call Python on its own, it gives us a prompt where we can type in commands one line at a time. This makes it great to play around with while exploring concepts and teachings, making it a lot easier to both learn the language and debug your own programs. As a trained musician, this was an important number given to me by many teachers. This is the amount of hours needed to master your instrument. This is also true when it comes to programming. The only way one is going to learn is practice, practice, practice. Here's where to get started. If we head over to Python's beginner guide, we can read that there are two options to choose from: for programmers and for non-programmers. For those of us just starting, this can lead to a major confusion. As you can see, when selecting the non-programmers option, we are given a list over 2 pages long to choose from. Where do we begin? As luck would have it, when I was first here, there were far fewer choices to choose from. I found them to be great, and they also still happen to be here. I first learned Python through the Non-Programmers tutorial for Python by Cogliati. After feeling comfortable, I had then moved on to the book A Byte of Python by Swaroop. Both of these resources I had found to be easy to understand, and with a great amount of practice, the information provided becomes second nature. Now, if like me, you like to stick as close to the home row as possible, then we are set to go. However, the majority of the world prefers to have these clicky buttons. This is where we have to think of a graphical user interface. Enter Kivy. Kivy is a framework for Python that gives us graphical elements we can use for our programs. Elements like buttons, windows, pictures, and the like. Here you can call up the Getting Started page. I find, however, that some parts of the Kivy documentation are hard to comprehend. To help with this, I like to check out YouTube. From here we can... Ooh. Now, what were we here? Oh yes, Kivy. If you search for Kivy tutorials, you can find several good YouTubers who cover it. I find my personal favorite to be Derek Banaz. He has a wide range of video playlists for computer programming, which is great. But I also find his Kivy tutorial to be quite clear and easy to understand. Once you understand both Python and Kivy, we will be using one more tool in this tutorial. This is a program of my own design called RefLabel, the source code of which can be found here. I will explain the details of the RefLabel program throughout this series. I hope this tutorial leads you on an enjoyable journey down the rabbit hole of computer programming, and in the very least, be entertaining.
Hey Jess, have you finished your business logo